In a world where almost everything is just a click away from being public knowledge, what if I told you that the most empowering thing you could do is keep a secret, not just any secret, but the personal milestones, the quiet victories that are yours and yours alone? We often forget that before the digital age, privacy was a cherished treasure. Stoicism teaches us the value of the inner self, the part of us that doesn't need applause to thrive. It's about understanding that some of the most significant battles we face are fought in the silence of our minds, and not every one of those needs to be a headline in our social feeds. As we dive into today's discussion, think about the last time you chose not to share something on social media. How did it feel? Liberating? A little rebellious, maybe? That's because you exercised a choice that goes against the grain of our share everything culture. You tapped into a story principle that's about as old as philosophy itself, the notion that not everything we do or think needs validation from the outside world. Now, if you appreciate what we're exploring here, a simple free favor you can do is hit the subscribe button. Today we're going to unpack why choosing what to share and what to keep to ourselves isn't just an act of privacy, it's an act of power. By the end of our talk, you might just see your quiet, unshed moments as the gold they truly are. So, let's get into it. When we talk about our personal values, we're diving into some of the most intimate aspects of who we are. These aren't just the standards we hold for our actions. They're the core beliefs that dictate every decision, every reaction, and how we perceive the world around us. Now, consider for a moment how value guide us through the chaos of everyday life. Stoicism teaches that it's not the events themselves, but our responses to them that shape our lives. Our values are our chosen responses, the paths we tread even when storms rage. They anchor us, giving us resilience against what we can't control. For example, if one of your core values is integrity, this will influence how you react when faced with a challenging decision at work or in personal relationships. It becomes your inner compass. During this, no matter the external pressures, you remain true to your course. But how do we identify these core values? It's one thing to list desirable qualities like courage, honesty, or loyalty, but understanding what truly resonates with our deepest self requires inner honesty. Understanding what truly resonates with our deepest self requires inner honesty. This is where Stoic exercises can be incredibly beneficial. They encourage us to reflect on our daily experiences and evaluate our reactions. Did I act out of fear or with courage? Was I honest even when it was difficult? These reflections help us see not just who we are, but who we aspire to be, allowing us to line our actions with our true nature. Stoicism doesn't just stop at knowing your value. It pushes for consistency between your value and your actions. This alignment is crucial because it's easy to claim a value. It's much harder to live it out, especially when tested. Stoics propose exercises like the evening reflection, where you review your day's actions and assess whether they were in line with your values. This practice doesn't just reinforce good behaviors. It also helps root out the inconsistencies, giving us a chance to course correct. Now, living in line with your values is undoubtedly rewarding, but it's not without its challenges. The modern world constantly bombards us with messages that can cloud our judgment or lead us astray. Social media, peer pressure, and even advertising can subtly shift our focus from our values to more superficial metrics of success, like wealth, fame, or physical appearance. Stoicism teaches us to recognize these external influences and separate them from our internal dialogue, which is essential in maintaining our path and not getting lost in others' expectations. Why is this alignment so vital? Because it ultimately leads to a more fulfilling and peaceful life. When our actions don't match our values, we feel it deep down, a kind of moral dissonance that can lead to stress, unhappiness, and even depression. But when they do align, there's a profound sense of peace and satisfaction that comes from knowing you are living true to yourself, regardless of external circumstances. This journey towards understanding and living your values isn't just about personal satisfaction, though it impacts everyone around you. When you live by your values consistently, you become a beacon for others. You inspire those who might still be searching for their path, and you offer a model of ingratitude and strength in a world that often values the opposite. Diving deep into what really makes us tick isn't just an exercise for philosophers or the introspective few, it's something that can benefit us all. Think about it like this. Identifying your core values is akin to mapping out the territory of your soul. It's about understanding the landscape of your inner world, which in turn shapes how you navigate the external world. And while it might sound like a hefty task, it's one that Stoicism, with its focus on self-awareness and wisdom, tackles head-on. Now, the process of figuring out these core values isn't about picking from a pre-made list. It's much more personal and profound than that. It involves a deep and honest look at what drives your decisions and actions at a fundamental level. What principles make you feel most alive? Which values, when you act on them, make you feel like you're being most true to yourself? These aren't questions that can be answered quickly. They require reflection, perhaps through journaling or meditation, both practices highly regarded in Stoic philosophy for their power to reveal our true natures. Stoicism teaches us that wisdom comes from within, from understanding our own virtues and how they connect to the universal virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. By identifying our core values, we're not just making a list, we're committing to a life that seeks to harmonize our actions with these virtues. For example, if you value honesty, then living truthfully in all your dealings is a way to practice the Stoic virtue of justice, aligning your personal values with a broader ethical framework. Furthermore, it's important to realize that our values can evolve as we grow and experience more of life. What we hold important may shift. This is where Stoicism offers another valuable tool. The practice of constant Stoics advocate for regular periods of reflection to reassess our values and ensure they still represent who we are and who we want to be. This isn't about inconsistency, it's about growth. As you face new challenges or learn from past experiences, your understanding of what matters most can deepen, leading to a more nuanced appreciation of your values. And let's talk about how these values play out in the real world. Identifying your core values has practical benefits that extend far beyond personal satisfaction. It affects your relationships, career choices, and even day-to-day decisions. When you know your core values, you can choose paths that align with your principles, leading to greater fulfillment and less regret. You'll be less likely to find yourself in situations that compromise your integrity or leave you feeling out of place. So, how can you start identifying these core values? Begin by considering times when you felt particularly full or right about a decision. What was driving that feeling? Was it a commitment to fairness, a desire to be creative, a need to challenge yourself, or perhaps a commitment to loyalty? Also, consider the opposite. Situations that made you deeply uncomfortable are just as telling. Often they signal a violation of a core value. It might seem like a buzzword at times, but light management, matching what we do with what we believe, is one of those pivotal ingredients in a life that feels genuinely fulfilling and authentic. When our actions and our values are in sync, there's a kind of harmony that permeates everything we do, from the way we interact with others to the personal goals we set and strive to achieve. In the realm of Stoicism, this line is not just recommended, it's considered essential to living a virtuous life, one that is consistent and true to oneself. So why does this alignment matter so much? Think about the internal conflict that arises when we act in ways that contradict our core beliefs. It's uncomfortable, isn't it? There's a discord, a nagging sense of being out of step with ourselves. Stoicism teaches us that peace of mind comes from living a unified life, a life where our thoughts, actions, and values are all pulling in the same direction. The ancient Stoics believed that dissonance between these elements leads to turmoil within the soul, while alignment brings tranquility. Consider the Stoic idea of living according to nature, your own nature and the nature of the world. This means understanding who you are and what you stand for, and then acting in ways that are congruent with that understanding. When there is a clear line between your beliefs and your actions, decision-making becomes more straightforward. Stress levels drop and confidence grows because you are no longer at war with yourself. You're not pretending to be someone else or living by someone else's rules. You're being fundamentally true to your own values and principles. This alignment also impacts how we relate to others and navigate the world. When you live in alignment with your values, people know what you stand for. This transparency builds trust and respect, qualities that are crucial in both personal and professional relationships. It also makes you a stable and predictable partner, friend, or leader, not murkier or inconsistent, but reliable and steadfast. Moreover, living in alignment attracts others with similar values, creating a support network of like-minded individuals who reinforce and share your commitment to certain principles. The process of achieving and maintaining alignment isn't always easy, particularly in a society that often values expediency over it. It requires a constant process of self-examination and adjustment. Reminiscent of the Stoic practice of the evening review, at the end of each day, Stoics reflect on the actions of the day, asking yourself, did my actions today reflect my core values? Where did I fall short, and how can I improve tomorrow? This practice isn't about self-reflection, self-excellence, but about self-improvement and realigning our daily actions with our deeper value. Moreover, active life offers a deeper sense of satisfaction with life. There's a profound joy and peace that comes from knowing you're living in a way that's true to your deepest beliefs. This isn't the fleeting happiness that comes from external achievements or the approval of others, but a dailable, enduring contentment that sustains through life's ups and downs. It's the kind of happiness that Stoics aim for, a happiness based on virtue and self-consistency. In a broader sense, living with alignment helps us navigate life's challenges with greater resilience. When we face tough choices or adversity, being anchored in our values provides a guidepost for action that feels right, even when the right action is difficult. It enables us to act with courage and integrity because we're not just reacting to external circumstances. We're responding in a way that's consistent with our deepest self. Sticking to your core values sounds straightforward when you're in a calm, controlled environment, right? But let's face it, life isn't a controlled environment. Life is unpredictable, messy, and full of temptations and pressures that can easily veer us off course. This is where the real challenge comes in, maintaining that limit between what we believe and how we act when the world around us seems intent on touching those beliefs at every turn. One of the primary hurdles we face in staying aligned is the external pressure to conform, whether it's from our social circles, workplace, or society at large. There's often a strong push to fit in. This can mean adopting behaviors or making choices that don't match up with our internal compass. The Stoics were well aware of this challenge and emphasized the importance of fortitude and personal integrity in the face of societal norms. They advocated for a kind of moral courage, the courage to stand firm in your convictions, even when doing so might make you stand out or swim against the current. Another significant challenge is the complexity of modern life. We are bombarded with choices and information, and often the right path isn't clear. It can be tough to discern which actions lie with our values, especially when those values might conflict with each other, or when the consequences of our choices are uncertain. Stoicism offers a tool here as well, the practice of reflection and contemplation. By taking the time to reflect on our decisions and their alignment with our values, we can navigate complex situations more effectively. This reflection also involves being honest with ourselves about our mindset and the potential impacts of our actions, ensuring that our choices are not only intentional, but also informed. Additionally, there's the issue of short-term dishonor clashing with long-term values. In moments of weakness or stress, it's all too easy to give in to impulses that might lead us away from our principles. Here, the Stoic practice of self-discipline and control over one's passions comes into play. Stoics believe that by mastering our impulses, we can ensure that our actions remain in line with our deeper values, rather than being derailed by feeling desire, mover, maintaining alignment requires continuous effort and vigilance. It's not a set-it-and-forget-it kind of deal. Our environments change, we evolve, and our understanding of our values can deepen over time. This dynamic nature of life means that staying aligned is an ongoing process of adjustment and realignment. It requires us to be perpetually mindful and proactive about our choices, a concept that is at the very heart of Stoic philosophy. Sometimes the challenge also comes from within, in the form of self-doubt or lack of self-awareness. It's possible to be sincere in our intent to live according to our values, but misguided in our execution. This might be due to blind spots in our self-awareness or misunderstandings about what our values truly imply for our behavior. Stoicism encourages us to seek wisdom continually, not just about the world, but also about ourselves. This includes recognizing and confronting our limitations and biases, and being open to learning and growth. In facing these challenges, it's crucial not to be too hard on ourselves when we falter. The Stoic path isn't about achieving perfection, but striving toward becoming better versions of ourselves. Each challenge offers a new opportunity to strengthen our commitment to our values and to practice the virtues that Stoics hold dear: wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. When it comes to keeping our actions in sync with our values, it's often easier said than done, right? Even with the best intentions, the hectic pace of daily life can sometimes scatter our focus. Luckily, there are some practical, down-to-earth strategies we can adopt to help ensure we stay on track. These substances are acting on them becomes second nature. First up, let's talk about setting clear, actionable goals that reflect our core values. It's like giving yourself a roadmap where each milestone is aligned with your deeper beliefs. Say one of your values is compassion. You might set a goal to volunteer a certain number of hours each month. This isn't just about doing good deeds. It's about MBSing into your life in a tangible way. Similarly, if integrity is a key value for you, your goals might include always being transparent in your communications at work, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Another powerful strategy is to create daily rituals that reinforce your values. The Stoics were big on routines that helped them embody their philosophy. For instance, you might start your day with a few minutes of reflection on what your values are and how you intend to demonstrate them throughout the day. This could be as simple as a morning meditation or journaling session where you set your intentions to be patient, frugal, or whatever else aligns with your values. Reflection is key here, and it's something the Stoics practiced diligently. They believed in the importance of examining one's actions at the end of each day to see if they lived up to their ideals. You can adopt this practice by taking time each evening to review your day. What did you do that was in line with your values? Where did you fall short, and how can you improve tomorrow? This isn't about beating yourself up over mistakes, but about acknowledging where you can do better. Accountability partners can also play a crucial role in maintaining alignment. Share your goals and how they relate to your values with a friend or a mentor who can help keep you honest. Just like a workout buddy can motivate you to hit the gym, an accountability partner can help keep your actions aligned with your values. They can offer a fresh perspective when you're facing challenges and celebrity with you when you successfully embody your values. Incorporating visual reminders of your values into your environment can also be incredibly effective. This could be as simple as posting quotes that resonate with your values around your workspace or home. Each time you see these reminders, they can serve as a prompt to act in ways that reflect your deepest beliefs. For instance, a Stoic might keep a symbol that represents tranquility, an essential aspect of Stoic calm in their living space, to continually remind them of their commitment to maintaining inner peace despite external chaos. Practicing mindfulness can enhance your ability to live according to your values. Mindfulness helps you become more aware of your thoughts and actions in the moment, allowing you to make choices that are more deliberate and aligned. When you're mindful, you're not operating on autopilot. Instead, you're fully present and making conscious decisions that reflect your values, which is a core aspect of Stoic living. Learning to confidently say no is like developing a superpower in today's yes-centric world. It's not just about turning down invitations or requests. It's a profound act of self-respect and a crucial component of living a life aligned with your values. Think of it this way. Every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your core beliefs, you're actually saying yes to your own priorities, health, and well-being. But saying no isn't always easy. We're often conditioned to avoid it for fear of seeming rude, unhelpful, or selfish. Hence, Stoicism offers a counter to this mindset by emphasizing the virtue of wisdom, knowing when different choices serve our higher goals. When you say no to demands that clash with your values, you're actually exercising practical wisdom. You're making a deliberate choice to honor your commitments to yourself and your vision of the good life. One effective strategy to say no with confidence is to be clear about your reasons, both to yourself and to others. When you understand and can articulate why something doesn't align with your values, it becomes much easier to communicate that decision succinctly. For example, if you value personal growth and someone incites you to a project that you know will lead nowhere, explaining your focus on meaningful projects can help both you and the other party understand your refusal. Another key aspect is to practice assertiveness. Being assertive doesn't mean being regressive. It's about being firm and straightforward in your communication. It's perfectly okay to say, "I appreciate your thinking of me, but I can't commit to this right now." Or, "This isn't right for me, but thank you for the offer." These responses show respect for both yourself and the person making the request, maintaining the relationship while still standing your ground. It's also important to normalize saying no for yourself. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Start with small things, like declining an extra responsibility at work when your plate is already full, or saying no to a social event when you need time to recharge. As you grow more accustomed to pushing back against smaller demands, you'll build the confidence to say no in more significant, higher-stake situations. Moreover, remember that saying no can sometimes lead to feelings of guilt or worry about missing out. Here, Stoicism teaches us to focus on our inner state and not be troubled by external judgments or fears. Reflect on the tranquility and freedom that come from making decisions aligned with your personal philosophy, rather than decisions driven by anxiety or a desire for approval. Consider the long-term benefits of saying no. Each time you make a choice that aligns with your values, you reinforce your identity and integrity. This not only builds your confidence, but also strengthens your reputation as someone who is clear, reliable, and principled. Over time, people come to respect your choices and your willingness to stick to your beliefs, which, in itself, can reduce the pressure to conform. Every single day, we are presented with countless opportunities to shape our future. Yet, it's the unseen missteps that often have the longest shadows. In the spirit of Stoic philosophy, we know that wisdom isn't just about pursuing the right actions, but also about steering clear of the wrong ones. Today, we're going to explore 10 critical mistakes that can keep you from living the enlightened, purposeful life that Stoicism teaches us to aspire toward. If you appreciate diving deep into these transformative insights, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. It helps us continue to bring valuable lessons like these directly to you. Also, make sure to watch through to the end of this video because each point we discuss builds on the previous one, painting a full picture of how you can avoid these life-altering pitfalls. Let's get started and navigate these waters together, learning how to avoid common mistakes with the guidance of ancient wisdom. So often we walk through life with a silent companion named doubt. It whispers in our ears, questioning if we really deserve the dreams we yearn to reach, the happiness we seek, or even the respect we crave from others. It's a trap, one that not only diminishes our self-esteem, but directly conflicts with the empowering teachings of Stoicism. Philosophized implore us to recognize and assert our inherent value, urging us to embrace the notion that we are deserving of the good that comes our way, contrary to what our doubts might suggest. I remember sitting across from my mentor years ago in a coffee shop that buzzed with the quiet hum of mid-morning chatter. He noticed the way my eyes dodged his when I talked about my ambition. "Why do you sell yourself short?" he asked. It took me a moment to formulate an answer because, honestly, I hadn't realized I was doing it. But in that question lay a pivotal Stoic lesson. If you don't know your worth, you will always accept less than you deserve, and often less than you are capable of achieving. Think about it. How many times have you settled for something less than what you truly deserved? Maybe you thought it was all you could get, or perhaps you believed that aiming high was unrealistic. Here's where Stoicism steps in, clearing the fog made by our insecurities. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." It's a call to internalize your true worth and to act in accordance with it. This doesn't mean arrogance or entitlement, but recognizing that settling for less is an injustice to the abilities you inherently possess. Reflect on this for a moment. Every time you set the bar low, you're not only robbing yourself of a potential victory, but also denying the world the chance to witness your full potential. It's about time we break this cycle. Embrace your worth, demand what you deserve, and watch as doors begin to open, not just because you're knocking louder, but because you've finally chosen to believe in the power of your own knock. Fear, that old familiar shadow lurking in every decision, every leap towards something new or unknown. It's a powerful force, one that too often dictates our actions and leads us away from the very experiences that could foster our growth. Stoicism, with its profound wisdom, offers a different path, one where fear is observed, understood, and ultimately mastered. I can still vividly recall standing at the edge of what would be my first major public speaking event. The audience was a blur, the lights a harsh glare on the podium where I was to stand. My heart raced, not with excitement, but with the terror of potential humiliation. What if I fail? What if my voice cracks? What if my mind goes blank? These fears were almost enough to make me turn and flee. But then a line from Seneca came to me, almost as if whispered in my ear. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. That was the moment of clarity. I realized that the fear was a natural reaction, but also a deceptive guide. It was trying to protect me from a perceived threat, not a real one. Embracing this Stoic insight, I stepped up, spoke out, and despite the butterflies, found my rhythm in my voice. The fear didn't vanish, but it lost its grip over my actions. I learned that day that facing fear, acknowledging it yet choosing to move forward in spite of it, transforms potential energy into kinetic, propelling us forward. This isn't just about speaking in public. It's about all those moments when fear whispers that you can't, or you shouldn't, or it's not worth the risk. Whether it's changing careers, ending a toxic relationship, or taking a chance on a new venture, fear often paints a picture of the worst-case scenario. Remember, he who fears death will never do anything worth living for, as Seneca so aptly put it. So how do we apply this Stoic practice to our everyday lives? It starts with recognizing that fear is but a perception, not a reality. It's about questioning the validity of what fear tells us. By confronting these fears with logic and reason, we begin to dismantle their power over us. We can then make decisions not out of fear, but out of courage and wisdom. There's a subtle thief among us, one that robs us of our contentment and destroys our sense of self-worth. The habit of constant comparison. It's like walking through life with a mirror held up to everyone else, only to use their reflections to judge our own image. But what we often forget is that these comparisons can never be fair or complete, as we are only seeing a fraction of someone else's story. I recall a time when I found myself scrolling endlessly through social media feeds, ying the achievements of my peers with a growing sense of inadequacy. Look how much more successful they are, I'd think. My own accomplishments shrinking in the shadow of others' curated headlines. It was a relentless cycle of measure and despair, until I turned to the teachings of Stoicism for solace. Marcus Aurelius, a beacon of wisdom, reminded me, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. This profound realization shifted my perspective. Why should the success of others be the yardstick by which I measure my own worth? Stoicism teaches us to focus inward, to cultivate our virtues, and to control our reactions to external circumstances. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you kinder, more disciplined, more forgiving? These are the comprehensive truths that truly matter, the ones that spur personal growth and general happiness. Let's break away from this cycle of comparison by fostering a mindset of self-improvement rather than competitive. Each of us is on a unique journey, equipped with different strengths and facing different challenges. When we shift our focus from competing with others to surpassing our own previous limitations, life becomes a more rewarding race against ourselves, not against others. In the relentless pursuit of our dreams and duties, it's shockingly easy to let the most critical aspect of our existence slip through the cracks: our health. We often act as if our bodies and minds are inexhaustible resources, pushing them to the brink without a second thought. But this oversight can have direct consequences, not just physically, but on every facet of our lives. I once met a man, a high-functioning executive with ambitions that stretched to the sky. His schedule was packed from dawn till dusk, chasing deal after deal, success upon success. Yet one day, amidst a crucial meeting, his body halted to a stop, a severe heart attack. That was a harsh wake-up call. Lying in his hospital bed, he shared with me his regret. I spent so much time accumulating wealth that I forgot the health to enjoy it. His story isn't unique, but it's a potent reminder of a simple yet neglected truth. Without health, nothing else matters. Stoicism teaches us about moderation and self-control, and it's a philosophy that places great emphasis on physical endurance and mental resilience. Heather, it also stresses the importance of taking care of ourselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about self-care as a duty, not only to ourselves, but to society. He believed that maintaining one's health is essential to performing one's duties. Neglecting your health in the quest for success is like building a house on a shaky foundation. It doesn't matter how beautifully it's designed or how robustly it's structured. It will eventually crumble. Therefore, it's vital to maintain the equilibrium between striving for your goals and keeping your health in check. Eat well, sleep enough, exercise regularly, and don't forget to mentally decompress. Remember, your body and mind are not separate from your aspirations. They are the very vehicles that will carry you there. Carrying the weight of past hurts is like ledging around a backpack filled with stones. It's heavy, it slows us down, and it serves no purpose on our journey forward. We've all been there, clutching onto grievances and wrongs that have been done to us, often feeling justified in our resentment. But what are we truly holding on to? A moment that's long past and a pain that only poisons our present. I once knew someone who seemed to carry the world on his shoulders. He was a close friend who had been wronged in a business deal many years ago. The betrayal consumed him. It tainted every new relationship and opportunity with suspicion and bitterness. One evening, as we talked under the starlit sky, I reminded him of a powerful Stoic principle shared by Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. I watched the realization dawn on him that his holding on to this grudge didn't punish those who wronged him, but imprisoned him instead. Letting go of grudges doesn't mean forgetting the hurt or excusing those who caused it. Rather, it's about cleaning our hearts of the bitterness that dims our light and dampens our spirit. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, a release from the past's hold, enabling you to move forward with a lighter, freer heart. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about managing them constructively, recognizing that our inner peace is far more valuable than clinging to past grievances. Think about the energy and peace we could reclaim if we chose to let go of old wounds and forgive, not for the sake of those who have wronged us, but for our well-being. It's not a simple task, nor is it one that we master overnight. but it's a vital step toward reclaiming our happiness and our lives. In the grand theater of life, we often play many roles: friend, colleague, leader, caregiver. Yet one crucial role we tend to overlook is being the architect of our own development. Investing in yourself is not a luxury. It is an essential practice for anyone who aspires to live not just an ordinary life, but an extraordinary one. Yet so many of us hesitate, bogged down by daily demands, forgetting that to pour into others effectively we must first fill ourselves. I remember meeting a woman at a conference, a seasoned professional, admired by her peers for her skills and dedication. Heavily, in a quieter moment, she confided in me her sense of stagnation, feeling as if the world was speeding by while she stood still. "When was the last time you learned something new just for yourself?" I asked her. Her pause spoke volumes. It had been years since she invested in learning new skills or broadening her knowledge. Inspired by Seneca's "Remember that as long as you live, keep learning how to live," she decided to make a change. She enrolled in a course that reignited her passion for her field and opened new doors for growth and opportunities. Investing in yourself is a broad and powerful endeavor. It goes beyond academic learning. It involves nourishing your mind, body, and spirit. It means stepping out of your comfort zone, challenging your preconceptions, and embracing lifelong learning. Whether it's picking up a new book, exploring a hobby, or taking a course, each act of investment translates into deeper self-respect, self-awareness, and enriched character. Take a moment to consider, when you neglect your personal growth, you are not just stalling your career or personal aspirations, you are denying yourself the fulfillment of your highest potential. Investing in yourself is also a profound declaration of your worth. It says to the world, and more importantly to yourself, that you value your life's journey and your capacity to influence it. So let this be a call to action. Reflect on the areas of your life where you've perhaps allowed complacency to settle in. What could you learn? What skill could you master? How could you grow? The answers to these questions are the keys to not just advancing your career or personal life, but to cultivating a rich inner world. There is a simple truth about life that many learn too late. The people around you shape you more than you realize. The play you keep influences your thoughts, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. Stoicism teaches us that we must be vigilant about who we allow into our inner circle, for the energy of those we surround ourselves with will inevitably seep into our own lives. Yet, too often we cling to relationships that drain us, friendships that keep us stagnant, and social circles that push us away from the person we aspire to be. I remember a close friend from years ago, ambitious, talented, full of potential, but his downfall wasn't his lack of discipline or intelligence. It was the people he surrounded himself with. He spent his days with individuals who mocked ambition, who saw effort as unnecessary, and who lived as though every day was meant for indulgence and nothing else. Slowly, without realizing it, he began to mirror their mindset. His dreams took a back seat. His goals became distant fantasies, and before he knew it, years had passed and he was still in the same place, wondering why he hadn't moved forward. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. It is not an act of cruelty to distance yourself from those who pull you down. It is an act of self-preservation. If the people around you are not lifting you up, they are holding you back. And the hard truth is, you cannot grow in an environment that constantly keeps you small." Take a moment and ask yourself, who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Are they pushing you to be better, to be wiser, to be more disciplined? Or do they encourage distractions, negativity, and complacency? Your environment is one of the biggest predictors of your future. If you spend your time with people who complain, you will find yourself. If you surround yourself with people who settle for mediocrity, you will start to believe that mediocrity is all you should expect. This is not about cutting people off without compassion. It's about making a choice to protect your own growth. Some relationships naturally fade, while others need to be intentionally refined. The key is recognizing when a connection is doing more harm than good. Stoicism teaches us that external circumstances, including other people, are not fully within our control, but who we choose to engage with, that is entirely up to us. Surround yourself with those who challenge you, who encourage you to think deeply, and who hold you accountable to your highest standards. Seek out people who embody the virtues you want to cultivate: discipline, wisdom, resilience. And when you find these individuals, hold on to them, because they will become the foundation of the life you are trying to build. There is a silent thief that robs more people of their dreams than failure ever could: procrastination. It's deceptive because it never tells you no. Instead, it whispers, "Not today." It convinces you that tomorrow is a better time, that you'll start when things are perfect, that one more delay won't make a difference. And then one day you wake up and realize that years have passed, and those dreams you once felt burning inside you have turned to distant regrets. I once spoke to a man who had spent decades dreaming of writing a book. He would talk about it passionately, mapping out ideas, collecting notes, even telling friends that one day he would finally sit down and make it happen. But he was always waiting for the right moment, for more free time, for some external sign that it was time to begin. One evening over coffee, he sighed and said, "I wish I had started 10 years ago." And that's when it hit me. He had wasted more time thinking about his dream than it would have taken to actually make it a reality. Procrastination is the enemy of progress. Marcus Aurelius himself warned against delaying action, saying, "You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow." The Stoicist understood that time is the one thing we can never get back, and yet it's the very thing so many of us waste the most. We act as if we are guaranteed a later date, as if life will wait for us to be ready, but life moves forward, with or without us. So ask yourself this: what have you been putting off? Is it that book you've been meaning to write? That business idea you've been too afraid to start? The healthy habits you keep telling yourself you'll adopt next week? Whatever it is, recognize that waiting is costing you far more than effort ever will. The perfect moment you're waiting for, it doesn't exist. There will always be excuses, distractions, reasons to delay. But the only way to make progress is to take action. Imperfect, messy, uncomfortable action. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll grow, learn, and improve. Every great achievement began as a first, unpolished attempt. Every master was once a beginner. Every success story started with someone who refused to wait any longer. Perfection is a marriage. It shimmers in the distance, promising greatness, yet every time you think you're close enough to reach out and grasp it, it moves further away. How many people have wasted years, even lifetimes, chasing something that doesn't exist? They tell themselves they'll start when everything is just right, when every detail is failure. And so they wait, and life passes them by. I once knew a musician incredibly talented, someone who could move people with just a few notes on a guitar. He had dreams of recording his own album, sharing his music with the world, but every time he got close, he'd find something to fix. The lyrics weren't quite perfect, the sound wasn't exactly how he envisioned it, the timing wasn't exactly how he envisioned it, but he never released a single song. His obsession with perfection kept him locked in place, never allowing him to share his gift with the world. Stoicism warns against this trap. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, stop waiting for the perfect conditions and just start. The Stoics understood that progress matters far more than perfection, because perfection is an illusion, unattainable standard that will only hold you back. Think about how much you've delayed because of this illusion. Have you ever stopped yourself from trying something new because you weren't sure you'd be good enough? Have you hesitated to put your work out there because you feared criticism? Have you kept refining, reworking, and second-guessing to the point that your ideas never see the light of day? If so, you are not alone. The fear of imperfection keeps countless people from ever stepping forward. But here's the truth: nothing will ever be perfect. No speech will ever be written without flaws. No business will launch without obstacles. No book will ever be free of edits. And yet, the ones who succeed are the ones who begin anyway. They take imperfect action. They make mistakes. They refine as they go. The greatest achievers in history did not wait for perfection. They built, they adjusted, they improved over time. So, stop chasing something that doesn't exist. Instead, chase progress. Do the work, put it out into the world, and let yourself learn through experience. The first version of anything will never be your best, but if you don't start, you'll never get to the version that could be. Time is the one thing we can never get back. And yet, how often do we find ourselves lost in thoughts of the past, dwelling on regrets, or anxiously trying to predict a future that hasn't even arrived? We chase goals, plan endlessly, and worry about what's next, so much so that we forget to live in the only place that truly can exist, the present moment. I once met a man who had spent his entire life planning for the future. He worked tirelessly, saving money, delaying vacations, postponing passions, telling himself that one day he would finally live the life he wanted. But when that one day arrived, he realized something devastating. He had spent so much time preparing for life that he had forgotten to actually live it. The years had slipped through his fingers, and all that was left were memories of days spent waiting for something better. The Stoics understood this mistake completely. Marcus Aurelius in Meditations reminds us, "Do not dwell on the past, do not dream of the future, but concentrate the mind on the present moment. The past is unchangeable, the future uncertain. So why do we waste so much energy living anywhere but here? Life isn't something that will happen later, it's happening now. Think about it. How many moments have you rushed through just to get to the next thing? How often have you been so fused on your next goal, your next milestone, your next achievement that you failed to appreciate what's right in front of you? How many times have you been with loved ones, physically present but mentally elsewhere, caught up in worries or distractions? We convince ourselves that happiness is somewhere in the distance, just beyond the next success, the next relationship, the next accomplishment. But when we get there, the finish line moves. We tell ourselves that we'll slow down once things settle, that we will enjoy life once we've figured it all out. But life doesn't wait. The present moment is all we are ever truly given. So how do we stop, lost sight of it? By practicing awareness. By reminding ourselves daily that this moment is the only one that truly belongs to us. By training our minds, as the Stoics did, to let go of what we cannot control, the past and the future, and instead fully engage with what is happening now.